sat down to think about this, it took about 5 seconds. I suppose talking about this man, like it's sort of what hasn't he done at this stage for North Tipperary, for Burgess, for Tipperary, for the GA. I suppose we're speaking of Donie Nealon, the great Donie Nealon. So I suppose from playing to coaching to administration to officiating, if there's an ultimate Hall of Fame resume, Donie Nealon has it. Born into a famous GA family in 1935, Donie was surrounded by hurling influences from an early age at Yohanara National School and Willie's Club Burgess. His secondary school education took him to the hurling nursery of St. Fannan's College, Ennis, where he won a Harty Cup medal in 1954. More hurling honours came his way at St. Patrick's Training College in Drumcondra and in UCD, where he won a Dublin Senior Hurling Championship in 1960 and 3 Fitzgibbon Cups with UCD in 1958, 1960 and captained the team in 1961. His teaching job took him to Goaten Bridge in the parish of Ballybacon Grange, where he played with the Liam Lynch's junior hurling team and also the South's Divisional Senior Hurling team, called the Piercy, who reached the county final that year only to lose with the great Thurles Sarsfield's team. Donie was called up to the Tipperary junior hurling panel in 1956 and progressed to the senior panel in 1958. And during an 11-year career at the senior level, won 5 All-Ireland senior titles, 1958, 1961, 1962, 1964, in which he scored a hat-trick over Kilkenny. I've got to mention that, we can't. And 1965, 8 Munster Senior Championships, 6 National Leagues, 5 Oireachtas Cups, 2 St Brendan's Cups, 4 Railway Cups of Munster, and a small matter of the Texaco Hurler of the Year in 1962. Returning to Newtown in 1963 to take up the post as principal in Yohanara National School following the retirement of his father Roddy, as well as donning the famous green and yellow hoops once again, with whom he won 8 North Intermediate hurling medals between 1953 and 1976, turning 2 of them into county championship medals in 1964 and 1976. Back at home, he developed his coaching career, as well as dipping his toes into administration for the first time. In 1966, he trained the Tipperary Intermediate hurling team to the All-Ireland title, before 5 years later he trained the senior and intermediate hurling teams to the All-Ireland titles, with the intermediates repeating that feat a year later, while in 1973 he trained the Tipperary under-21s to All-Ireland glory. When Michael Babs Keating was charged with bringing Tipperary out of the doldrums in 1986, he made a shrewd appointment in choosing Donie Nealon as the selector, who in the course of an 8-year period won 2 All-Irelands in 1989 and 1991, as well as 5 Munster Championships, including the never-be-forgotten famine-ending victory over Cork in Killarney in 1987, when Donie set a fashion trend with his grey overcoat. And I think Michael Doyle is still sore from the whack he got after celebrating the first goal. Burgess didn't lose out on his coaching greatness either, as he trained his home club to North Intermediate titles in 1992 and 1993. As a referee, Donie Nealon officiated at all levels within and outside the county. He refereed no fewer than 11 North Tipperary senior hurling finals between 1961 and 1986, and also numerous Munster Senior Championship games and an All-Ireland Intermediate and an All-Ireland under-21 hurling final in 1966. His administration skills with Burgess led him to following in his father's footsteps by being elected Secretary of the North Tipperary Board in 1969, a role he remained in until 1978. He stepped down after being elected Secretary of the Munster Council in 1977, a role he remained in until his retirement in 2004. A year later, he was to the fore in establishing Burgess Tahara Camogie Club, whom have gone on to enjoy great success, winning 5 county titles since, and at the age of 8 he remains chairman of the club. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you agree, a Hall of Fame resume, if you ever heard one. Would you welcome the inaugural inductee of the Nina Guardian Hall of Fame, Mr. Donie Nealon.
regret not packing more into that CV. See, I can't say that I've ever met anybody more deserving of a Hall of Fame award. I was looking at your CV when Shane sent it on to me, and I suppose all the boxes that you ticked, and then you still always remained level-headed on the ground. How would you manage that? 5 All-Irelands, but that's only tipping the iceberg.
You didn't mention the ones we lost the time. Funny, I didn't ever think I'd play county.
I'd say you're about the only one.
It wasn't in my mind, but I suppose got exposure in fans and a new CD and came to know the stand. And I first played junior, and amazing thing, sorry, who was on the junior team with me when Jimmy died? That was in 1956. Well, it progressed from there all right, and strange thing, I was going to the match, particularly when Cork were beaten Tip quite a lot in the 50s. And you'd look in and you'd say, my God, if you were in there, you'd get killed. But it looks a lot different when you're inside, you know. But no.
When did you first get the call? Did a letter arrive, or did somebody telephone the house, or how did you get called?
I was picked for, in the end of '57, I was picked for a league match in Galway, which was called off because of the frost. So I played, I think, a league match, took her out of it then, and there was a Miller Shield. I was in Dublin at the time. There was a Miller Shield, and we got to the final against Mid-Tip. There was a huge crowd at it in McDonough Park, and I did fairly well on Tony Watt at it. I think that was the breakthrough, you know.
Who called you up first of all, Donie?
I'd say Phil Person probably wrote to me, and but I got a few chances at practice games. But the first thing he gave me, the first thing I got was a miraculous medal. That was the first medal. And my mother sewed it into my tops.
I'd say the miraculous medal was for the guy you were marking, to be honest.
No, and I think how times have changed. After winning a first All-Ireland, that was in September of 1958, the medal was handed to me in the dressing room the following day. So things were very simple that time, you know. I must say, Damien, that I came at a very lucky time. I didn't play county minor. I only played one underage juvenile match. I didn't play county minor. I was a December baby. But I came when Tipperary was at the strongest point. In 1950s, in that decade, Tipperary won 8 Munster and 6 minor All-Irelands. And I was fortunate to come at that time in Tipperary. Because in any team, in any game with a team game, you depend, it's not just a cliche, you depend so much on those around you. You have your good days, you have your bad days, and your bad days. But I was very fortunate with the players, you know them, I'm not going to mention them. I mean, if I kind of left out Tom Malachy or Mackie, I could never leave them down.
Mackie especially, I think, Donie.
Yeah, I carried them on my back for years. I tell you, I have a couple of county junior medals which I'm very proud of. Tom Malachy was a great hurler. Senior hurler with Kirawan, won a good number of knots north, but he told me he never won a county medal. And Mackie was within a mile in the county medal, but he took him on with Burgess. That's what I say about a team game. It depends so much on whether I started off with strange thing. I can go back now again. In 1941, I saw Johan Arra winning the, no, I saw Burgess winning the, we weren't in great speaking terms at the time. I saw Burgess winning the North Intermediate, and the following year Lara won the North Intermediate, beating Rogue in the old showgrounds. They joined together then and formed the famous Duhara, reached North final, but Malachy's Kirawan crowd beat us again. But having said that, I played like with great Burgess teams over the years, very good colleges teams, and as I said then, so fortunate at County that I came at a great time. You know, the standard, that was our glorious, and I was so fortunate to hang on there, you know. And that's how it's so looking forward.
Anybody take you under the wing, give you advice or steer in the early years, Donie, or were you left to forage for yourself and Mackie?
Well, you know what? There's so much coaching now, I think there's over-coaching of teams. I say to have the players no heads of their own, they have any intuition of their own, you know. But yes, Jack Maher, the famous Jack, was the father figure in Burgess teams. He was first asked us up to play with Burgess. But after some time when I was playing with Tip, he called me aside one day and he said, Donie, listen here, he said, if you don't get rid of that ball faster, you'll be killed. And I took his advice, I don't know whether I did or not. But when I'm at that, I look around here, and it's very reassuring for me, and I'm very grateful to my family, old and young, the gang up here today is senior citizens, youngsters, to my club, Burgess Yahalara, to my county, and of course now at the moment, to all those lovely girls in Duhara, Burgess Duhara. You know, they're wonderful. That's when you're on a team, you're part of the team, and they can make or break you.
Round of applause there, ladies and gentlemen. Just
I would like to congratulate the guards, and I'm in and out there fairly often, but they're very helpful, they're very expert, but I think this is a wonderful initiative by them, and I'm delighted with the success of tonight. And I'm delighted too, I'm honoured, I'm privileged, I'm grateful, and I really appreciate being picked as the first inductee. That's a big new word I had to look up. I had to look up the meaning of it. And my granddaughter said to me, what does that mean, Granddaughter? I know, I said I have to go to the Oxford Dictionary. But I am very privileged to be the first in there, you know. And I'm very grateful to the guards and the selectors for that. But I would put a lot of it down to the support I've got from my own people, from my family, from my neighbours, from the county, and as I say, all Camogie and hurling, because they have stood behind me, they have supported me, they've helped me, and they're here again tonight, and I deeply appreciate that.
Your family especially have been an immense credit to you. They've all played or been a huge part of the GAA and your life as well, Donie.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. They are hurling or camogie too, good and handball and whatnot. And it's nice to see them participating and taking part, you know. And you know, your manager there, where is he, David? Yeah, school that fella. And along with that,
You do a great job, Donie.
I did. He won 2 county medals, one in '93 and the other in '05. He was a great goalie for us. Well done, Dave. I suppose another thing that helped me, I would say, was my mother, who was a Portmore, I'm often reminded of that. She didn't go to the matches, she didn't look at them on television, she went to the churches and the roads. I think it paid off quite often, you know.
Did you get a chance to travel the world with those Tipperary teams, Donie?
I did, but I never liked it, because I hated flying, I still do. And the last time I flew was in 1968. We were coming back from New York. As I say, I went, I said I won't get a chance again. They were wonderful and great memories, and we had great success. But we were coming back and we were out about 2 hours, having our meal. We could see into the east, and the sun was breaking, and the next thing, wham! The plane dropped, I'd say, about 500 feet. All the lights went off. All the food went flying all over the airplane. And Babs Keaton says to me, if I get down off this effing thing, I'll never get up again. I never got up. That's a fact. But there was great John Joe Maher from Rossgrave. He was a great Rossgrave clubman, county board man, and everything. John Joe was there. John Joe took a lot of whiskey with him. That time we were going to America, each person traveling could take 5 bottles of whiskey. But I didn't drink, but John Joe and a few of them had a lot of friends in America. And he said, you don't drink, Donie, you drink 5. He had 45 bottles. Stuck myself in Babs to visit some fellow Babs somewhere. And he said, what are we going to take as a token of our gratitude? Hold on, said Babs. I go out next door, he says to Jerry down through. And I get Jerry talking, and he took one of Jerry's bottles. So, oh yeah, John Joe Maher, that vein. All John Joe had left, and he said, you reached up, you need half a bottle, give me down John Jameson. I couldn't have John Jameson. Yeah, they were great times, and we travelled to Toronto and Chicago, New York, Boston, and the whole lot, you know.
So you won 5 All-Irelands as a player. Did you find it hard to get your head around that gap then between you taking over as coach with Babs and the maybe the barren years in between?
No, I could see in 71, with the fine team in 71, I think, we were good enough and talented enough I think, to have won a second All-Ireland. I could kind of see then, you see that we weren't winning minors. That was going to be a valid period. But when I came back with Babs in Dublin, I said, there's lots of players around. We're after winning some All-Ireland minors, we're after winning about 421 All-Irelands. The players are there if we give them their chance. And I think they definitely respond. You know?
What did you say when Babs rung you?
Well, not making a secret, a certain man had asked me to be manager. I said I couldn't be manager of anything. But I sent him to Babs. I said, go and get Babs. And Babs said, I said, it's mine being selected. You know?
They were unbelievable years that followed. Can you, when you look back now, are they near the top of the tree in terms of highlights for you?
Whatever, I say Killarney has to be one of the highlights. All time on the sector Tipperary. Even though they didn't win the All-Ireland, it certainly was a turning point.
What can you remember about those times, those days?
I don't know, I can't remember enough. I can remember at half time, no, that was in 71. At half time in Killarney, we were playing Limerick. That was an 80-minute game. And it was absolutely pouring rain. I had been sick the year before with rheumatic fever, but that's why I was wearing the coat. When was that?
87.
Because the doctor
It's
said,
been a long fever.
the doctor said to me when we were leaving St. John's Hospital, first question I said to him, will I be able to hurl it out? He said, you'll be the best judge of that yourself. But he said, I tell you, don't get wettings and don't get a sore throat. That's why I had to wear the coat. The last time in 71, we were in a bad way in Killarney because we were 6 points down. But it was an 80-minute game. So I stressed at half time. Liam King, the great Liam King, and Roger Ryan, God rest them, came on as subs. And we stressed there's a whole new match to go. Another 40 minutes. And we can turn this around. And they certainly did. And of course we used our right forward.
Babs hard to get on with, or did you get on with it like a house on fire?
No, Nancy told me to keep him in his place. I know, it wasn't. No. Very, very easy actually, you know. He worked very, very hard in setting up this, the sports and all that. No, there's no problem. No.
Go back to 89, right? When you got through to the final against Antrim, after all the good work you'd done in the previous few years, how hard was it for you guys to focus on the fact that the likelihood was you were going to beat Antrim in the final and you didn't want complacency setting in?
Well, I remember we spoke about the All-Ireland at half-time in the semi-final, when we heard that Antrim had qualified for the final. We stressed the importance of that second half against Galway. Now is our opportunity. If we get here, well, we should win the All-Ireland, you know. But we didn't take Antrim for granted. We prepared like anything else, and you know, fair play to Antrim. You have to give the great credit as well for keeping the game going there. But no, we just approached it, and as you say, it was going for 16 years. So you know, you still had to go out and do it. And even at half-time, we were very strong at half-time in that All-Ireland. Even though we were way ahead, we were very strong that it wouldn't lower their game, you know.
You got 2 titles, a bit like the current team. Was there a feeling back then that you possibly could have won more?
Well, I'm grateful they won 2 because I think they certainly deserved 2, and possibly might have won another, but at least to win 2. That's why I'm so sorry for the present group, because it's a wonderful talent of hurling there in the county from the minors of the mid-noughties, and you know they're a tremendous bunch of hurlers, and I suppose they have underachieved. You know, they're a group who deserve another All-Ireland, if not 2 more, you know. Who knows, maybe it will turn for them, but certainly this group, they were deserving of 1 or 2 more All-Irelands. I hope they do, but I go back on something. Now we all know there's great celebrations this year for 1916. Does 1916 ring a bell with anybody else? Tipperary won the All-Ireland in 1916. A lot of people forget that in the years that's in it. But I was looking up the records about it. They played Galway and Athlone in the semi-final. At half-time, the man we visited today against Watford in Parky Green, Tipperary led 8-1 to nothing. What did Galway do? They didn't come out for the second half. And the All-Ireland team won it by 5-4 to 4-2 against Kilkenny. But that's 100 years ago. Maybe we might repeat that, you know, this year. I would love it for this group of players because they have given us great entertainment. They're very skillful, you know. I'd love to see them winning another All-Ireland.
How has the game changed since you were holding that half-time position?
I was looking back lately at the 64 or 62 or 4 All-Ireland. And what amazed me was that 15% of the game that time was played on the ground. It has changed dramatically, where it's all lift now and run, and it's a marked sin to hit the ball on the ground, or to dunk on the ball in the air. I think those are the big changes. Of course, the players are a lot fitter because of scientific people over them, you know, and they're able to put that down to good effect. We didn't have that, but still, perhaps the game changed. I think that's been a big change, that it's pick and run now an awful lot, you know.
You've got a young guy come out of minor, maybe even younger, under 14, 15, and there's a galaxy of coaches, as you say, lining up to bring him forward. What's your advice to any young guy coming through, Donie, not just in hurling, but in any sport?
Well, I would say to him that along with going to training with his team and collective training like that, he should put in hours individually or with 2 others. I trained a lot on my own in Dublin with 2 fellas out in Belfield. I in the middle of the field and the other 2. You need to improve your skills, your fitness and your confidence. You have to do a huge amount of training on your own or with a couple of other fellas, and I don't think players do that today. They just unfortunately go to the training session and they don't do enough on their own. If you want to improve, you'll have to go training on your own. When I was changed from wing forward Paddy Lahey was a very clever man as a manager. You see, Larry Kiley was coming on the scene, and Babs and so on, and I was going forward, and he brought us together, and he was such a clever man, you know. And he said, he started talking about me, and he said, if I asked Donie Nealon, he says, to play full back, he said he'd try it. We said, well no, he said, I'm only asking him to win corner forward. Now, you might look at that. That was a sea change for me, because I was going into number 13 from number 10 or 12. So I really had to go and practice and practice and practice my left-hand side. Because when you got the ball there, you had to go and strike 7 times out of 10 with your left-hand side. And if you didn't do that, well, I don't think you would make it.
When you look back, who are the characters that spring to mind more so than anybody else? The guys that wore the blue and gold.
Characters?
Yeah.
Funny?
Whatever way you want to define it.
Well, nobody could beat the rat. Nobody could beat the Rattler ball. He was wonderful in the dressing room. Marvellous. Well, you know, they were all serious kind of guys. There weren't too many characters in them, you know. Jimmy Flynn, they were very helpful to us. Those older players, John Dye and Jimmy Flynn, Mike Canal, they would take you aside and have a word with you. And they were very, very helpful. I remember the first match I played against Limerick in the championship, and Oregon now. The score was very good. Jimmy Flynn had been in America, and he was late coming back. And we called for him, and well, he said, lads, I think it was his granny was there, and he said, I follow you. Now, he was a superman at that stage, and we said, Jesus, it's not going to come. And that day we went to Mass in the RAG, and that team lined out with 7 players who had never played senior for Tip. We went down anyway, and it was left enough at half-time, Limerick were very good at the time, and Jimmy Flynn called me aside at half-time. Now, he had very little training for him. I didn't know what he wanted me for. He says, here, you run around there every place. He said, I'm bunched, he said, I'll watch you, man, you go and get the ball. You know, but they were so helpful. Pat Staken was another. These people, it was good, there was a few of them there, you know.
Yeah, you moved on then after your career ended, a brilliant career ended. You moved on to the administration side of things eventually, Donie.
That was a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, I'd say your eyes were opened in that.
Well, I cut my teeth in that in Tipperary there for 10 years, and that wasn't easy, you know. Nortip is my father used to say, there's as much activity in Nortip as in many countries, you know. So, yeah, I'll tell you one good story. I was in an invidious position because I was secretary and supposed to be representing Burgess as well. So I had to shut my mouth most of the time. But we drew with Kildangan in a match, and well, that time was put in the North Court. Referee, one girl would say Damien Lawler, another girl would say Brendan Cummins. That's the way the referees were appointed. But I went to we weren't happy with the referee, and I want to give you his name now. We called him John Hole. But I went to the Kildangan fellas before the meeting and said, lads, look, we're not happy with the referee in the match the last day. Now I said, we're happy that you can, whoever you like, we won't stand him. You can pick whoever you like, and we had discussed the man the day before, or the previous Sunday, and he can propose him. So I came up anyway, Burgess v Kildangan. Referee, total silence. Referee, Kildangan, John Hole. They put up the fella I asked them not to say. Understand me? So you get like that, you meet him, but the Nortip was great, it's not all about it.
How has the GAA changed now? You were in the Munster Council Secretary's office for a long, long time, and yourself and Newell and all the people that worked there brought a human element to it that is now gone, I feel.
Yeah, right.
How do you feel the GAA has changed, Donie, and what's good with it and what's bad with it?
One thing anyway, I think we spend too much time in meeting rooms, dealing appeals, big long meetings, where we should be spending more time out promoting the game. I went to a Munster Council meeting in Mallow before your time, Sean. You weren't so bad.
You weren't so bad either.
Went to a Munster Council meeting in Mallow. Tall appeals in Cork. I was going in my own gate at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now what in the name of God was I doing in Mallow until 4 o'clock in the morning? And it's still going on. You know, I think we do spend too much time in the boardroom. We waste a lot of time in there, you know.
Are you happy enough with the direction the association is going in general, though?
Oh, I think it's going very, very well. It was never a strong. There's tremendous support for it. And let me make this observation. The attendances are fantastic. Unbelievable. Why mostly? Ladies take up 40 or 50% of the attendance. And now you're getting a chance in the dollar now, 30%. That's changed. Anybody will tell you, you go to any match now, long ago, very few ladies went. Even your sisters might have got about it, you know. But now the 40, 50%. I must tell you about my sisters playing the whole league. You're back in the 50s or the 60s. They joined with Port Row. Right? They were in existence for 2 years. Right? They never scored. That tells me they scored an OG. No, I wouldn't be one bit afraid for the association whatsoever. It's a great result, you know. I love it.
Final question. Go back to your club, your family, your county. How proud are you when you do look back at all you achieved, Donie, as a player, referee, administrator, coach, manager? Could you have believed what you went on to achieve?
No, I don't ever take any. I don't ever take much notice of it at all. You know? They're there. I often say, well, it was an awful matches. How did you go through it all? But you know, you get a rude awakening. You get a beating. And John D. Heaton was great for sticking it to Tipperary when they lost. So we'd say we'd show you the next day. You know, going on. But once you keep the group of players together, whether it's a club or a college or a county team, once you can keep the nucleus of that group together, that's why I hope I won't see any more resignations from the team panel. Once you keep the group together, they'll bond together and they want to achieve more. You know?
Typical Donie, talk about the future.
I must say, a lot of those there, I wouldn't have those when I was looking. We're at club and college, and particularly at county level, with those great players. They won it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donie Nealon.